Hey, purpose-driven friends. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to talk with us a little bit about detaching from pain. But before talking about this, I wanted to talk a little bit about myself and my own journey, sharing that with you. First thing I want to share with you is who am I? And apart from being a Christian minister, I'm also an entrepreneur, which I've been for over 20 years, about 25 years to be precise. And when I say an entrepreneur, I've owned companies like restaurants, catering service, agro processing, where you produce products and has it in the supermarkets and all of that. So my journey from a teenager has been in the field of food. All right. What I didn't realize though was that God chose this for me. Initially, I wanted to study computer operations and business management. And I remember going to School of Accounting and Management and having one of the actual owner of the school actually ended up in conversation with me. And the conversation really caused me to kind of make a change at that tender age. The thing about it, though, is that even though I really wanted to do business and get into computer operations and all of that, God had another plan for me. So, who am I? My journey is really from food and beverage management, pivoting over to agro processing, as I shared with you before, where I made products, did a lot of trade shows, got a lot of travel opportunities, and all of that to present my products, even with companies in my local country, like Trinidad and Tobago. I remember doing a delegation a couple of times, more than once, with companies like Matooks and KC, Candy, and Swiss, and all of those, and did multiple trade shows with those big guns, as we would say. But it was really a learning experience. All of that was a learning experience. And why am I sharing this? Because when I transitioned to the United States, I started having health challenges. Now, being a foodie, as one would call it, someone who owned a catering service, owned a restaurant, you think about culinary enjoyment. So you're cooking for enjoyment. You're not doing calorie counting. You're not really thinking about, cutting back. Um, you're just going all out. And so when I started having health challenges, it was a wake up call for me. And I'm going to share a little bit about that before I jump into the next, transition. What happened is that my first wake up call was one blood clot, which returned after a couple of years. And in addition to that blood clot, a little while after, fibroids. Then after that, thyroid goiter with 2 weeks to do an emergency surgery because it was restricting the oxygen flow to my brain. I remember there was a clarion call out for people for prayer for my life. I remember that candidly. Even though physically I knew that my body was shutting down, naturally I knew that I was not done yet. And my faith and the prayer of the saints, because I'm not going to say it's because of me, it's because of God, I was able to make it through those dark days. Another thing I really faced was a lot of fainting spells, a lot of brain fog, just a lot of back pains. I can't forget that. A lot of back pains, chronic back pains. I experienced hair fall as well. My hair was falling out like big time, balded in the middle. And now thanks be to God, and thanks be to the journey of being committed and being curious. I have been able to get as far as I have, and trust me, the journey isn't over. But why I share all of that with you is because I'm not coming to you in a place of just talking or pulling something up on Google. It's been a lifelong, journey of study and becoming my own physician. Because when, you know, the pharmaceutical system and all of that, I realized was failing. Nothing was getting better. I had to take things into my own hands, into God's hands first, and also into my own hands, which pivoted me into naturopathy. I went into studying herbology, and I want to say thanks to my dear friend Rhonda Isaac, who I had a hospital experience, and I remember just reaching out to her, just felt it led by the Spirit of God to just text and say, "Girl, where are you? How are you doing?" And she says, "How are you?" And I say, "Girl, I'm in hospital." And that was a really bad time. I mean, I couldn't walk without assistance. I had lost balance. I would be just going somewhere and I would have to say, "Someone help. I'm going down." And I would just be fainting. I remember one time I was preaching at a church and I had this long line to pray for, and I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'll fall down before I'm finished with this, praying for the people in the line. Actually, one time I was a part of a woman's conference and we were at a retreat, and I laid hands to pray for someone and I went down instead of that person. Now I can laugh at it, but back then I was not sure what was going on, what on earth was going on with my body. Thank God for wisdom, thank God for knowledge. Now, for a lack of knowledge, people perish, but I thank God for his saving grace. So I got into herbology and I started using herbs for myself. But what I didn't realize was this was a calling, because I had someone that was dear, dear, dear to me, my spiritual mother, many years ago. And there was a situation where I sought high and low to different naturopathic stores, herb stores. I sought everywhere I could turn to get help for her, and I couldn't find anything. And I don't want to go into too much detail, but the Lord actually gave me a download for a poultice that actually really worked tremendously, and it reversed a condition. So I would only say that much about that. But there, I wasn't really paying attention. I used a lot of herbs, but it was just like inclination at that time. I would actually make stuff for people in my church and all of that. But later on, as I said, the pain led me to a place of getting into herbology and studying the naturopathic way of healing. And so it didn't stop there, because I realized I had a lot of anxiety. I was feeling sad a lot of times. I was feeling confused. At times I felt like, God, what is going on? Are you not hearing me praying? Have you given up on me? Do you even care? I asked God these questions. Yes, I did. And so that led me to studying cognitive behavioral therapy, because I wanted to understand the psychological part of what was happening. And I also studied and was certified too in neuroscience, because I just wanted to see the whole brain function and all of that and just connect the dots. So I moved through a lot of companies. I actually worked with a health company in the US, and I got great results from that product. I'm sure many of you would have seen old videos, Sankey Global, and made some good money as well. But more importantly, was able to help a lot of persons and really come out of a certain place. But there was still so much more to be done. I actually didn't stay on that product beyond 2 years, and so I went onto the path of creating my own products. I now use my own supplements, my own detox, my own cleansers, and I am also preparing those things that it can be available for persons to purchase that online as well, because the knowledge that I have, I believe it's not just for me. I'm willing to just share with whoever will listen, because we don't need to suffer. We can learn to listen to our bodies, and most times we're not paying attention. So we keep having something and we're not realizing, okay, every single time I have too much sugar, there's a crash. Or every single time I have a glass of wine, I have digestive issues. Or, you're just not connecting the dots. And so the journey of self-healing, and I don't want to just say self-healing, but the naturopathic way, and also, focusing your faith as well, you have to learn to listen to your body. Listen to God first, listen to your body as well. But the knowledge, getting that knowledge is also important. All right. So having said that and laid that foundation, I want to also say I do these videos live on Facebook and on YouTube, also on LinkedIn, or as on Instagram. I want to ask you, just go to the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, and share. If something that I share resonates with you, you learn something, or you can help someone to just say, you know what, I need to take my health more seriously, because that's where it starts, just with that one little decision. And then we could start eating food as fuel. I want to say that again. We must eat our food as fuel. We must not be fun eaters, but we must be fuel eaters. We must not live to eat, but we must eat to live. So we have to use wisdom and knowledge with what we're putting in our mouth and in our bodies as well. Even with medication, all of that, I would say to people, pray over those medications. And if you see that it's not doing anything, and if you look at the side effects and it's way more than what you're expecting, then you need to make a wise decision. I am not claiming to be a doctor. I am not. I'm not claiming to tell anyone that I can heal you from anything. I'm sharing with you my journey and how I was able to cancel a thyroid surgery that was supposed to be 2 weeks emergency, not Seven times actually. God shut this one down. Seven times I tried to do a fibroid hysterectomy, and every time the Lord just allowed it to shut down. There was one time I went on vegan for 6 months, and when I went to the doctor, they said it had shrunken so much, we don't need to do it. And then I went on another diet, trying something else to deal with the thyroid, which involved a lot of eggs and milk and all of that, and the fibroids came back. So then I went, I made a shift again. So the journey was just an interesting one where surgery was not the way for me to go. The naturopathic way was the way for me to go. And I don't say that anyone who is suffering and you need a surgery and the opportunity is there, you go ahead and do that. But I'm just saying there are options, but we have to be willing to be disciplined and follow through to get the answer that we're looking for. So, having said that, I want to just say to you, take control of your body, take control of your mind, take control of what is happening inside of you. All right. And so, again, like and subscribe. Also, I have a session coming up soon, and you would see the link in the description below. It's called Level Up. We're going to just come together and talk about ways that we can level up on our health, level up on our mindset, level up on taking action in our lives, the things that we need to do, that we stop saying, I need to start exercising. I need to start, I need to write my book. I need to start my business. Because being an entrepreneur, I know what it is to start a business at 10 years old. I also know what it is to start a business with $10. I also know what it is to start a business with one customer, but be faithful and diligent and give quality and see that thing just grow and blossom. There were times I would just sit in my business and say, my God, how did this happen? How did I end up in dealing with the quality of clients that I have? BP Schlumberger. How come I'm dealing with people like, the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards, School of Accounting and Manage. When I looked at my clientele, I was just like, whoa, God, how did this happen? But I can tell you how it happened. The journey of 1,000 miles begin with one step. And so many times people don't see your journey. They don't see your commitment. They don't see what is happening behind the scenes. And so if you commit to anything and just continue, the word of God says the diligent will be a rule. And so discipline and diligent success is inevitable. So I wanted to leave us with that thought, who I am, my why. I don't want this video to be very long. So just click like, subscribe. I have an upcoming video coming where I'm going to be talking about, how to deal with pain, whether that's physical pain, emotional pain. So I'm going to be sharing that with you soon. I didn't want to I didn't want to add that video on to what I wanted to say here because I realized it's going to be long and I don't want it to be very long. So love you. God bless you. God give you a self-healing body. You are capable of experiencing homeostasis, where your body, everything starts balancing out. But if you would put the right things in your body and help your body, you would be able to get those amazing results. I've seen, even coming around the month, I thought it was the norm to get a pimple on your face. Now that's a thing of the past. There's not even a spot on my skin. From a person who every time winter comes, I would see like my skin just drying out and breaking out with just like these bumps all over my hands. It would be so embarrassing. And that is a thing of the past. My hair is growing back. I've always been a person to have long, thick hair, and all of this stress as well. I want to talk about that. I'm trying to end the video, but stress is a big one. If we don't manage stress well, and myself, yours truly, being a workaholic from very young and just not knowing when to stop, when to rest, when to switch off. And that's something now I've learned to do. You can say no and you can say tomorrow. I can do this tomorrow. I can't do it today. We have to give ourselves that opportunity to rest. We got to practice self-love and self-awareness. You got to know, I'm tired, girl. You can't do any more today. Take a shower, get to bed, call it a night. Yes, you love that sister. Yes, you want to pray for and talk and help or do something for that loved one in your house. But you just got to say, baby, guess what? I'm tired. I can't do any more today. Love yourself. God loves you. So love your neighbor as you love yourself. God bless you.